He hits harder than I thought. He's quicker than I thought. That's all the questions I'm about to answer, and he doesn't know what's coming. It's like a lion catching a gazelle. He doesn't know what's coming.
Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone is doing well today. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Shout out to all the subscribers and big up to anybody new locked in. Gratitude to you. So, in these recent interviews, shout out to the Boxing Voice. They did some interviews with Keith Thurman and Tim Tszyu. A lot of really interesting stuff. I'll leave some of the clips throughout this video or at the end of the juicier parts that I found really interesting. But one thing that I found really interesting, actually, I was about to switch the interview off because it was right at the end, and then Tim Tszyu had a beautiful analogy about the fight, and he said it would be like a lion chasing a gazelle.
It's like a lion catching a gazelle. He doesn't know what's coming.
And I love that because like I'm going to use that and do a separate video on that. I've already started to get the pieces together for that, but depicting both the styles and you know how it actually might pertain, because we talk about a big strong lion against a bouncy, more not athletic but speedier, faster on its feet gazelle. You know, it's I always try to throw in themes. I try to, you know, and I was looking for a theme, and then Tim Tszyu popped up with that. Genius. Keith Thurman as well. He was talking about a game plan and you know, kind of half giving it away, whether that was, you know, for serious or not, but I'll talk about that. But before I want to just say thank you to all the subscribers that are new. And you know, the last video I did on Tszyu and the family, about how, you know, like father like son, appreciate anybody that commented on that. And you know, I really enjoyed chatting to boxing fans that really know their stuff, so I'm very grateful for that. And I've got obviously the film study on the Tszyu, Nikita coming up too, and I've also got some other videos doing some film studies and just sort of mini documentaries that are going to take a bit longer. But today I'm just going to be rambling. I'll try and put whatever, you know, clips I can, as I said. But let's start with what Keith Thurman said, okay? Because he was talking about basically comparing it a little bit to Mayweather.
But the way that he kept poise and the way that he kept a poker face and pretended like he wanted to be there and didn't use excessive movement, you know, that's exactly the type of tactics that I'm going to need to bring into the ring.
How Mayweather Canelo, okay, which look, at the end of the day, Canelo in that fight against Mayweather, if you haven't seen it, was giving Mayweather far too much time. And look, a lot of this, most of this was down to Floyd. That was one of his best performances, I think. Superb performance, just how to use your jab perfectly, how to take away any offense from stepping back, how to just control the pace, ring generalship, timing, offense, defense, using his jab in multiple ways, you know, shutting down offense like that. It was just a masterful performance. But Canelo wasn't anywhere near as aggressive as Tim Tszyu is going to be against Keith Thurman. So that's, you know, first of all, it's weird to air out your tactics, but like I said, it's probably just done to throw, you know, Keith Thurman's quite smart, and this is why I'm making this video, because I do find these little mental mind games leading up to the fight fascinating, because Tim Tszyu was very calm, very relaxed, and you know, he was like straight to the point as well. And he mentioned, he's like, when was, you know, he's got all this power. When was the last time Keith Thurman knocked anybody out?
He's saying that he's got all this power, but when's the last time he knocked someone out? Or knocks someone down?
I think it's been 9 years.
There you go,
I think 2015.
Numbers don't lie.
2015 was the last time he got
Numbers
stopped.
don't lie. Yeah, so.
It was like 9 years ago. When was the last time he dropped anybody? And it was like, when you think about it, he's also going up in weight. He's going to be at 155. So really interesting build up. I'll be making a lot more videos leading up to the actual fight. But that thing that Keith Thurman said, you know, I think he was basically saying that he's going to run without running. You know, the term run gets thrown out a lot in boxing. We know that. And fighters that are on the back foot and they choose to box a bit more and move their feet get labeled as running, and it's often wrong. You know, I think it's running is somebody, I would say, like Lara did against Canelo. You know, there's a fine line, but if you're boxing intelligently, using your feet, you're using your ring IQ, you're using your jab, you're using the space that's allowed. The size of the ring, actually, for me, always is really important, especially in a fight like this, because you know, the difference between 18 and 20 is massive. And I'm sure Keith Thurman will look to get the biggest ring he possibly can, because he's going to need it. He's going to need every inch of that. And should he get that ring, he'll be using his feet, lateral movement. He'll be using his intelligence. He'll be looking to set up angles. That's his game, you know. And I'll pull up some clips, actually, what against the Barrios fight that he does, that I think I'll touch on it more. I'll do a full fight breakdown. But something that Keith Thurman can do is get a little bit creative, okay, which he can do. But against Tim Tszyu, when you have a good elite defensive fighter coming forward that doesn't get sold on much, right, meaning his concentration's high and he's not gonna really fall for the basic stuff, or like, you know, you have to do cute little things. And Thurman, like for example, feinting with the right hand, coming around the left hook, he did it against Barrios a couple of times. I'll pull the clips up right now. It's very subtle. You've got to look very carefully at it. But what it does, it creates a reaction. And that's your entry point. And that's what Keith Thurman, I think, is going to try to do in spots. But full, more detailed breakdown on the little nuances of this fight closer to the fight. It's the kind of fight that I would really want to tell you who's going to win the day of, really, the weigh-in, because I want to see how Keith Thurman is acting, because he's acting a bit out of character to me. Same way he acted against Pacquiao. And I did a video about that. Is, you know, when he's, and look, I mentioned too, he might be told to sell the fight, and he probably is trying to sell the fight. And, you know, he also did a recent interview too, how, you know, he wasn't going to let Tim Tszyu come in and talk, and he just talked over him. He'd actually openly said that. So there is a tactic to it. It's the mental games, but at the end of the day, with such inactivity and you don't know where he is, and you're fighting somebody that's been massively active and getting so much better, you might not be in the same position as they are mentally, so you have to sort of compensate for it. That's my thoughts anyway. But no, I found it really interesting, and I think Tim Tszyu, he's calm and collected, and look, he's going to be ready to go. It's going to be a good fight. It was poo-pooed quite a bit when this got announced, but I thought straight away, I was like, this is actually a decent fight. I think it could be slightly competitive early. I think Keith Thurman will use his IQ, his feet, and just his creativity and just his speed, basically, and create some interesting moments early. But I do think the longer this fight goes, you know, Tim Tszyu's going to make his mark at some point, slow him down, touch him up a little bit, and the end of the fight could get really interesting. But
he will come in competitive because he's got balls and he's got a heart. But when he feels it, man, he'll be squealing. Let's just say that. I want
to watch a lot more footage. But speaking on the Lion versus Gazelle, I touched on it a bit, but like it really gave me an epiphany, really.
He doesn't know what's coming. It's like a lion catching a gazelle. He doesn't know what's coming.
Where, you know, making another video, as I said, basically summing up that, you know, that is how it is. You got a bigger, stronger specimen, Tim Tszyu, coming down, hunting the gazelle, which is Keith Thurman. The gazelle is no slouch, very quick on its feet, can outsmart the lion. The lion doesn't always catch the gazelle. This is the beautiful thing about it, is, you know, lions come charging in. I'll pull up some footage now because I was straight onto Google and doing some searching.
Where the hell did she go?
And it was the most perfect analogy you could think of. So I'm building up a video on that. It's only about 3 minutes long with a bit of music and stuff, because if you are new to the channel, I try to put a bit of art behind it. I'm a musician, I'm an artist really deep down, and I can't, you know, help myself sometimes. So yeah, watch out for that video. And then I've got the Keith Thurman coming up. I'm also doing a little mini film study on Tszyu Carrington. He's from Brooklyn. I'm based in Brooklyn, and, you know, I know some people that know him quite well, or that have been around him at training and stuff like that. But because he's a native here, but it's because he's really good, and I think he could really do some really good things in the sport. And I was like, oh, let me make a video about him. And Dimitri Bivol. I've been talking about that video for quite some time. I had to put it on the shelf. The art of perfection. It's how his footwork and how his Soviet style has been drilled into him through stoicism, discipline, and just, you know, repetition and how it comes to fruition in the fight. It's been a very difficult project, but I will get to it, and I'm just going to put it out soon. That's probably the last of the 3. And then I'll be looking to do more detailed breakdowns on fighters. So, you know, if you can think of anybody that you want to do a artistic piece on, let me know. Hit the comments, and hit the comments if you got any thoughts on this fight or the things that I've said regarding Keith Thurman's game plan regarding the Mayweather Canelo. Again, it could all be smoke and mirrors. Tim Tszyu looking confident. I can't wait for this fight. May 30th. We've still got some weeks to go, but I'll be making more videos on this. I hope you guys are great. Sunday today. Have a lovely week. I'm out.
I'm just putting in the work, as I always am, you know. As soon as my fight finishes, I'm back in the gym a couple of days after. And it's just, it's a non-stop grind. This is a lifestyle for me.
It's finding the moments, being sharper, utilizing the defense.
What he says before is not the same energy that he brings to the ring and after. You know, he starts questioning, you know. So all of this persona that he's putting on, and he's saying to himself that he's going to be a bodybuilder, it's all to psych himself up.
After the presser, he went home, it popped up in my feed. He was talking, we're going to knock Keith Thurman out early, first, second round knockout. So if he comes with that much animosity, that much intensity, you know, he's going to subjugate himself to being caught.
Yeah, people, like, they really underestimate me, man. Like, I'm not easy to hit. And my IQ is like, I'm 10 levels above you, and I'm quicker than you would have thought. I punch harder than I thought, you know. So all of these questions are for him to feel once fight night happens, you know.
But if he just thinks he's just gonna walk in and go boom and put Keith Thurman down and out, you know, I mean, let's just be real. Keith Thurman's never been stopped, ever.
Because there's so much on the line, you know. For one of us, it becomes a window of opportunity, you know. So I'm gonna grab it with both hands, man, because I know what's on the line and what's in the future, you know. It's big.
And it's my job to show him what you have done. It's very good and it's worked against a lot of people. But eventually, when this world of boxing,
it's gonna be a variety, man. It's gonna be a variety of shots. It's not just the body. It's gonna be something that he's never felt before. And when he feels like spitting the mouth guard out, I'll make sure that it stays inside.
not that little island of Australia that you've been knocking people out on yet. That one little island in the world of boxing, with the Russians, the Americans, the Puerto Ricans, the Dominicans, the Mexicans, you know. I've always been prepared for the world of boxing, from the amateurs to the pros. To me, what Tszyu brings to the table is nothing new. And I think what I'm going to bring to him, with my experience, with my angles, and just my overall mindset in this training camp, Tszyu is going to realize that he's in with a caliber that he's never seen before.
He's never felt anything like this. Again, he hits harder than I thought. He's quicker than I thought. That's all the questions I'm about to answer, and he doesn't know what's coming.